How's it going, guys? And welcome back to If Naruto Was Raised by the Sage of Six Paths. And this is part 4. So, right off the bat, I want to say that due to all the training Naruto has done with Kakashi, and a little bit he did with Jiraiya, and the training he did with the Sage, he has a jutsu for every single element. He has the Gale Palm for wind, the Lightning Bolt for lightning. I think it was lightning, electricity, something like that. My bad. He has the Water Bullet for water, the Stone Bracers for earth style, and the Fireball Jutsu. And at the moment, he can make up to 10 Shadow Clones, which he's 4 years old, so it's impressive, yes. But he does have access to, well, for one, some of Kurama's chakra if Kurama lets him, and the Sage was teaching him too. Now, where we last left off, Naruto had got done learning those jutsus for the most part, and he was learning the basics to the Rasengan. He's only popped the balloon so far. He hasn't gotten to the ball yet, and unfortunately, he's not going to be able to because when Naruto wakes up, he notices that old perv is gone. He left without even saying anything. And Kakashi, when Kakashi's awake, and he explains, he's a busy man, Naruto. I understand he's supposed to be here helping, but he has missions he has to do. But Naruto, you did mention something about Sasuke Uchiha, correct? I think I had done that. If not, I'm gonna have throw that in there. Naruto brought up wanting to meet Sasuke again because of the Sage. Naruto says, "Well, yeah, that I want to meet him because I want to at least properly thank him for what him and his brother did for me." Now, Kakashi is a little iffy on that, just for the fact that the Uchiha clan is still on. They're being suspected for the whole nine-tailed fox thing. But Kakashi, with him having the Sharingan, which Naruto doesn't know that, he thinks, why not? We'll go ahead and see if we can do that. And they end up going to the Uchiha compound together, and they end up going to find Fugaku, and I think her name was Makoto, if I'm correct. If I'm wrong on what Sasuke's mom's name was, let me know in the comments, please. They're looking for them, and they actually find Itachi first. I'd say he's probably not out on a mission right now. He's probably just relaxing. He sees them, and he knows Kakashi. He's like, "Kakashi Sensei, what are you doing here?" I'd assume he'd call him Kakashi Sensei, just I guess out of sheer respect. Well, I don't think Kakashi is a sensei at this point, so we'll just say, "Kakashi, what are you doing here?" And hey, it's you, Naruto. Naruto's seeing Itachi. He's happy. He's like, "Hey, it's good to see you again, Itachi." Itachi says, "Yeah, how are you doing? Are you all right?" Naruto's, "Yeah, I'm fine. I was actually wondering if your brother was around." And Itachi's like, "Sasuke? He's back at home, but what are you two? Are you here just to see Sasuke?" He says, "Well, yeah. I don't think I've really gotten to thank him properly. So I thought, I wanted to see him." And Kakashi, he tells him, "Yeah, Naruto, he said he wanted to thank him properly. And honestly, I think it would be good for Naruto to make another friend." So, Itachi leads them over to, where Fugaku and Makoto are at. I'd say Sasuke's probably home. That or he's probably training his Fireball Jutsu to make his dad proud. And they see Fugaku, and he sees Kakashi. He's, what are you doing here? And he sees Naruto, the fox boy. So he's wondering, what's going on? Kakashi, he says, pardon, the intrusion. I was wondering if we could speak to Sasuke at all. Fugaku's like, well, why do you want to speak to my son? And Naruto says, well, I just, he saved me one day, and I wanted to thank him properly, and maybe try to become friends. Kakashi, he pretty much says, yeah, it's the truth, but Naruto, if you don't mind, let me do the speaking. And this is something that's more formal. Fugaku, I'd say he's gonna okay it. It's like, oh, absolutely, go ahead. But it's not so much for Sasuke, it's more for him. Because the Uchiha are planning that coup eventually. I'm pretty sure they were planning that for years. And in his mind, if we can get the nine-tailed fox boy on our side, that would be great for the coup. This would be a perfect opportunity. So absolutely, Naruto. Or, well, he's not going to know Naruto's name, but absolutely, boy, go ahead. And, they end up going, and I'd say Fugaku tells Itachi, go ahead and show them where Sasuke is. I'm busy at the moment. And I'd say Fugaku is probably going to go and tell the other Uchiha about what's going on. It's like, hey, we can use the boy eventually. We can use the fox boy. Itachi ends up leading them over there, and they see Sasuke. Sasuke actually, he recognizes Naruto as, oh, Naruto, is that you? He runs over there and is like, how are you doing, Naruto? Are you okay? And Naruto is like, yeah, I'm fine, not Itachi. I'm fine, Sasuke. And then he puts out his hand and he says, thank you. He's like, for what? I was like, for that day when you and Itachi helped me. I never really got to properly thank you. I would say, Naruto is still Naruto, but even though it's been a few days since, it's been a few days since then for the most part. He's probably getting a little bit more polite, just for the fact that, the Sage, Jiraiya, and Kakashi. Now, he's still Naruto. He ain't all formal and whatnot, but it's Naruto. He won't, he likes making friends. And I would say the two of them probably start hanging out a little bit, and then Itachi decides to talk to Kakashi. He's like, so Kakashi, has anything been different with Naruto? And Kakashi tells him, not really. But then Itachi stops him right there. Why are you with Naruto? And Kakashi says he's gonna lie. He doesn't want them knowing the whole Sage and everything else. He tells him, the third has put me on guard duty for Naruto, just to make sure he doesn't get hurt anymore. And I thought it'd be a good idea if, he were to make some friends. Because, from what you saw, how the village views him. And Itachi is a little upset just from being reminded about that. And he's, yeah. Maybe it would be a good idea for him and Sasuke to become friends. And I say him and Sasuke are training, and then Sasuke tells him, hey Naruto, check this out. And then he, fire style, fireball jutsu, and does the jutsu and showing Naruto. And Itachi sees that and he's kind of laughing. He tells Kakashi, my little brother's been training a lot, just, to impress my dad. But he's getting better at it. And then Naruto says, oh, I can do that too, watch this. Kakashi hears that, and it's like, oh crap, Naruto, no! Don't show them. And then Naruto does the fireball jutsu. Itachi sees that, and he's shocked. It's like, this boy is this young, and he's doing the fireball jutsu. He's not even an Uchiha. And I would say Makoto probably saw that, and she goes outside wondering why she saw two fireball jutsus. So, seeing one is one thing, but then seeing another one, and I'd say she probably saw Naruto there. So it's weird. She's probably thinking, so what's going on? But nothing's really going to come from that. I just wanted to bring that up. Kakashi kind of walks over there and smacks Naruto on the back of the head and telling him, Naruto, don't show them any of your techniques. He's whispering that to Naruto. I'd say he probably pulled him away from Sasuke. But then, he goes and starts talking to Sasuke again. And Sasuke tells him, no, that was amazing, Naruto. I didn't think someone, not trying to sound rude, but you're a kid, and you did that. Naruto says, you're a kid too. But Sasuke's gonna say, yeah, but, I'm an Uchiha. That's fire style, that's our bread and butter for the most part. Naruto kind of laughs about that, and I'd say they're getting along really well. And let's say a couple more hours go by with them two just hanging out, and then after that, Kakashi, him and Itachi just talking more. He finally tells Naruto, "Hey, Naruto, let's go ahead and head back." And Naruto's a little upset, but it's like, okay, all right, let's go ahead and go. So they're going back, and says, "Well, bye, Sasuke." And he'll "See you later, Naruto." And they have a decent little friendship going on now. So they go ahead and head home, and at this point, I'm actually going to fast forward a little bit. I mainly wanted to establish, for these first few parts, I wanted to establish Naruto's friendships. Him becoming friends with Sasuke, him becoming friends with Sakura, and then him becoming friends with, or him getting, I'm trying to think of the proper word, become better friends with Shikamaru and Choji. Just to have like a little group for the most part. So, we're going to fast forward a little bit. Naruto still doing training. Jiraiya comes along every now and then. But Naruto will bug him. "What about that technique you were going to teach me, the Rasengan?" Jiraiya is probably not going to teach him any more for now. He's just going to say, "Well, keep working on your chakra control." So, we will fast forward to 2 years later. And I believe this is when they would first start at the academy. So after 2 years, Naruto, he may still be a child, but he's grown a little bit. He's a lot smarter thanks to Kakashi and Jiraiya and the Sage. And I would say him and Kurama have actually gotten to somewhat speaking terms. Naruto, he honestly likes the fox, mainly because of the Sage, and the Sage keeps Kurama in check. Keeps him relaxed. So they are mostly, I would say, they're on speaking terms, but only if Kurama feels like it. Like Naruto may try to speak to him, say, "Oh, how you doing?" And Kurama will just ignore him. Kurama has to be in a really, really good mood, which happens every now and then. So, Naruto is 6 years old now, and he's gotten pretty good at those basic jutsu. He hasn't learned anything else yet. We're not gonna teach him anything else, but he's gotten better at his shadow clone jutsu. So I'd say at this point he could probably make 50 clones. You may think that's a lot, but Naruto does have a massive chakra pool being Uzumaki. Not only that, he has been training the past 2 years with a Sannin and Kakashi. Not hard train, them two, it's not hard training for them, but for Naruto, they push him to get better and better and better. So he's going to have some pretty decent chakra control at this point. And I'd say when it comes to learning the Rasengan, he can pop the balloon really easily. That's no problem at all at this point. But Jiraiya doesn't want to make the boy, too overpowered. I mean, he's pretty overpowered as it is, I guess you could say, but he's not learning the Rasengan yet. We'll save that for another time. So, age 6, he enters the academy. He meets Sasuke. He's like, "Hey, Sasuke, it's good. How you doing?" And they're Naruto, it's good to see you, buddy. They're cool. They're friends. He sees Sakura, and I'd say Sakura, she's probably more like Naruto's mom. She may be she's not gonna be like Hinata shy. It's like, "Oh, Naruto," and then pass out. I'd say she'd be a little shy, probably blush when talking to Naruto, but she's still gonna be loud. It's like, "Hey, Naruto, what are you doing?" I'd say when Naruto acknowledges her and stuff, that's when she kind of, gets shy about it. Like, let's say every now and then he may give her a compliment, and that's what gets her, she'll get quiet and blush. And then we establish his friendship with Shikamaru and Choji. Not so much Ino, just because I would say Sasuke still has his little fan club, and honestly Naruto might have one now too, just not as bad as Sasuke's. Ino is still going to be gawking at Sasuke, like all the other girls, how they all have a crush on him. But I'd say they all get together, they meet Iruka Sensei, and they're just having a good old time. And I would say when they probably have like a recess or something. Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura, Choji, and Shikamaru are just kind of hanging out, just talking, seeing how things have been with each other. And like I said, Naruto doesn't like bullies. He notices, he notices someone's being picked on. And there's a little girl with blue hair that's getting picked on. Everybody kind of looks over, and Naruto hears it, and he rushes over there saying people are picking on Hinata. Now this Naruto is going to be a little more different, and the people that are picking on her is probably like a couple boys making fun of her eyes or something. Naruto quickly runs over there and is like, leave her alone, and I'd say he just decks one of them in the face. And Naruto gets in a little fight, And I would say, Shikamaru was like, oh, come on, Naruto. Choji's over there, eating, and I'd say Choji's probably getting into the fight. Sakura is like, get him, Naruto! Beat those bullies up! Sasuke, he's probably face-palming, just, Naruto, really, man? And then I'd say, though, Naruto gets a little overwhelmed, though, because, there's about, like I said, 3, 4, 5 of them. At that point, Sasuke starts backing him up. As soon as Sasuke shows up, they're like, nope, we're not dealing with the Uchiha boy, and they take off running. Naruto's a little beat up, but he sees the little girl there, and he gives her hands like, hey, are you okay? She's blushing and everything. I am changing it up a little bit how he meets her, but he met Sakura first. And he helps her up, and she's blushing about it. It's like, well, Naruto Uzumaki. I hope they weren't, being too mean to you. I'm sorry that happened. And she's, I'm Hinata Hyuga. I'm pretty sure Sasuke would know who the Hyugas are. And says, a Hyuga? Why would they pick on someone like that? That doesn't make sense. Why would they pick on a Hyuga? That'd be like picking on, me, an Uchiha. And Sasuke even says, hey, are you sure you're okay? It's both Naruto and Sasuke making sure Hinata's okay. And that is what's going to start her little crush on Naruto. Be that as it may, Sakura has a crush on Naruto as well. I'd say Naruto tells Hinata, well, here, come over here with us. Hang out with us, just in case those bullies come back. We'll all beat them up. And Shikamaru hearing that says, Naruto, don't volunteer me for something like that. This is such a drag. But he's got like a little smile on his face. They all get together, hanging out, getting to know each other. And at that point, I would say Iruka Sensei probably shows up, wondering what was going on. And they explained everything that happened. And they pretty much get off scot-free for the most part. And I guess that's really their first day of school for them, I guess you could say. It wasn't very productive, but I guess it was just more so meeting everybody and becoming friends. They've met Hinata, and they have, the core group, Naruto, Shikamaru, Choji, kind of. I'd say she doesn't like Naruto. Just because he's still, Ino was a loudmouth too, though. But Naruto still has his little loudmouth. But Naruto is also more so, he'll charge in head first. Sasuke is still he's a little reserved, but if you're gonna try fighting his friend, he's gonna fight you too. It's like him and Naruto, they're pretty good friends at this point. It's been 2 years, and sorry if you heard that. My charger fell. So I'd say they all go home, and Kakashi asks how Naruto's day went. He explains what happened, and Jiraiya, he shows up. He's like, hey, what's going on? I heard you got in a fight at school. I'd say Iruka probably told him about it. It's like, yeah. And then Jiraiya says, so, I heard you were protecting a girl, Naruto. Starting off early now, aren't you? And that gets Naruto blushing. It's like, well, what's that supposed to mean, you old perv? I'm not a perv. Or, well, he's a perv, but you know what he's saying. It's like, well, quit calling me that, kid. And the day goes by. The day goes by. And I'd say he ends up heading to bed, and he ends up seeing the sage. It's like, oh, hey, how are you doing? And Kurama, being in a decent mood, he sees Naruto and he actually kind of laughs. It's like, huh, good job decking those kids in the face. I enjoyed watching that. Kurama was being a smartass. I'd say he'd probably get a kick out of Naruto knocking some sense into somebody. Like I said, he'll talk to Naruto. And Naruto, he's gonna take it. It's like, well, thanks. I appreciate that. They got what's coming. They shouldn't be picking on people. And Kurama's not gonna say anything after that. He's said enough. And the sage, he's talking to Naruto, and he says, Naruto, we've done a lot of training with you, which I am very proud of you for. But here's the thing. You've been doing all of this for me. You've been doing everything that I've asked you to do, and you have asked for nothing in return. Besides begging me to teach you that jutsu, which I'm still not going to teach you yet. It's like, I said, I told you when you become a Genin, I'll go ahead and teach you. But I want to ask you this. Is there anything you would like to know? Anything about me? Anything about, Kurama? Just anything. And I'll tell you to the best that I can. Naruto thinking about it, and he's, well, not really. I haven't really thought about that. And then he remembers something. He remembers when he was younger, Jiraiya Kakashi brought up his dad. So Naruto says, actually, there is one thing. Do you know who my dad is? Kurama actually looks up to that. And he's paying attention now. And Kurama even says, why do you want to know that, boy? Does it matter? And the sage says, Kurama, he has every right to know, doesn't he? You may not like him, but it's his dad. And Naruto is like, wait, you don't like my dad? Why? What did he do? Kurama getting irritated is like, it doesn't matter, boy. And he says, no. I'll tell you why I don't like your father. Because your damn father is the reason I'm sealed inside of you to begin with. And Naruto goes, what? But I thought they said that the fourth sealed you inside of... And it clicks. The fourth Hokage. He's my dad? Which, if I'm correct, I brought up in, I think, part 1, that Hiruzen told Naruto that the fourth Hokage sealed the fox inside of him. If I didn't, forgive me, this will be like a little house cleaning up, and I'll say that he did that. Then Naruto says that, why didn't anybody tell me? And Kurama, he's not listening anymore. He's like, I'm done talking about this. I hate that man. The sage says, Naruto, considering the fact that I have been here since you were born, I do know a couple things, and Kurama has told me a lot about what's happened. Not only that, I've been in the ninja world for pretty much since the beginning. Well, not since the beginning, but when the sage showed up. And he tells him, your father, the fourth... oh, excuse me. Your father has a lot of enemies in this world, Naruto. Now, your mother was the Uzumaki. That is who you get your name from. Your father, well, his name is Minato Namikaze. The fourth Hokage. He has a lot of enemies, Naruto. The village hidden in the stone, the village hidden in the clouds. If you were to have been given his name, his last name, if you were Naruto Namikaze, you might not be here right now. There's a chance somebody could have invaded the village and have taken your life already. So please do not be mad at Kurama and I for not telling you this sooner. And do not be mad at Jiraiya, Kakashi, or the third. I can tell you, from the day when you had asked about it the first time, they wanted to tell you. But they know they couldn't. And he says, Naruto, also think about this. Look at the friends you have made so far. I understand you have been treated very bad, and I'm sorry. But if they would have known your name, yes, you more than likely would have been treated as a hero. But they still would have hated you, Naruto. And I'm sorry for saying that, but they would still have had just a great amount of disdain towards you. But they would have gave you respect because of your name, not because of who you are. So, Naruto, would you have been okay with that? And Naruto, thinking about it, it's like, well, I would have been treated better, but no, I'm not okay with that. I'm Naruto Uzumaki, and I want people to treat me not because of a name, but because of who I become. And I'm going to become the greatest Hokage. That way they'll all stop looking down on me. And not only that, you said that I'm supposed to be a protector. I'll be the one to protect everybody. And silence kind of fills the room, but the sage is happy about that. And he tells him, oh, then Naruto, I can assure you, your father was a great man. So, how about I teach you something? It's like, what? What are you going to teach me? Kurama looks up and he's thinking, are you really going to show him that? He says, your father had a nickname when he was still alive, Naruto. They called him the Yellow Flash, due to a technique that the second Hokage, Tobiramu, created. Now, me being who I am, of course I know all these jutsus, every single jutsu already. I mean, I am the sage after all. So I can teach you this. This is a jutsu that the second Hokage had created, but your father perfected. This technique, it is, lightning style, which you have been learning a bit of. You learn that you know how to use the Thunderbolt jutsu, which is a low-ranking ninjutsu, but it'll suffice. But this jutsu that I'm going to teach you is a high-ranking jutsu. You may not even be able to pull this off for years, but I guarantee you one day you will be able to do it just fine. This jutsu is called the Flying Thunder God. Now, to do this jutsu, first you must have a symbol. So Naruto, what would your symbol be? Write it down. Make a tag. You've heard of tags, correct? It's like, you have explosive tags, and seals, stuff of that nature. Go ahead and manifest a kunai and create a tag for it. And Naruto does so. And he says, well, what do I do with this now? So the sage tells him, Naruto, toss me that tag. Or toss me that kunai, sorry. He throws the kunai to him. And I would say, the sage, to demonstrate to Naruto, since their chakra is linked, I'd say he would be able to do it pretty easily using Naruto's tag. He throws the kunai, and it goes into one of the trees. And Naruto, seeing that, well, well, now what? It's in a tree. What's so special about it? He says, just watch, Naruto. And then in an instant, he teleports to where the kunai is. Naruto sees this and he's amazed. He couldn't even follow it. It's like, what was that? And he tells him that. Pulls the kunai out and spins it around his finger. That is the Flying Thunder God. With enough practice, you could teleport all over the place, for instance. And he throws the kunai and he just teleports to it. And he does this a couple times, just showing Naruto. And then he tells him, Naruto, a special thing about it. Did you see when I placed my hand over that tree over there? Naruto says, yeah. Alright, watch this. Teleports back over there. Naruto says, whoa, but you didn't even throw the kunai this time. And he says, that's correct. But that is because I placed your tag there. Your symbol. Anywhere you place one of these symbols, Naruto, you can teleport to. And let me tell you another secret with this technique. Let's say you are here in the land of fire, and you place a tag. We'll say, you know of the other great nations, correct? Naruto says, well, yeah, I mean, Kakashi Sensei, or I keep saying Sensei, but Big Brother Kakashi had told me about them. And the old pervert, he told me a few things too. He says, alright, this jutsu has no radius, Naruto. Its radius is how much chakra you can use for it, and it takes a massive amount of chakra. But, you being an Uzumaki, and I'm sure with Kurama's help, and Kurama... he tells him, I'm sure you could possibly do this anywhere in the shinobi world. You could place a tag in the village hidden in the mist. You could place a tag in the village hidden in the clouds. You could place a tag anywhere you want. And you could instantly teleport there, as long as you have the chakra to do so. Which, as I said, I'm sure Kurama wouldn't mind helping you with that. Right, son? And again, Kurama just, if I have to, I will. But I'm not doing it for you, brat. It's for my father. Naruto he's just amazed. Like, this is amazing. So, how do I learn this? And, he shows Naruto the necessary hand signs. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's hand signs for it. I don't think Naruto's dad had to do any hand signs, but that's just because he mastered it. And he tries it, but he can't do it. And it wears him out instantly. He says, wow, I couldn't even do it once. And he tells him, it's going to take a lot of practice, Naruto. Possibly years of practice. Then Naruto says, wait, what if I use my shadow clones? There, you have learned. You've learned well, Naruto. You can use the shadow clones for it. But there is a catch. Like I said, this jutsu uses a massive amount of chakra. You can make 50 clones at the moment. With the amount of chakra you need, you may not even be able to make one shadow clone. Because of how much chakra you need. It's like, wow, really? So, what I need to do is work on increasing my chakra reserve, right? So just, right again, Naruto. You are exceeding my expectations for you, my boy. Naruto kind of blushes about that. And he tells him, thank you. And then he says, well, you've told me about my dad. I mean, what else can you tell me about him? So, honestly, not too much. Kurama's told me a lot. But it was only negatives. But I don't know your father personally, but just from what I've seen, he was a great man, Naruto, and I guarantee you, your father loved you very much. And honestly, wherever he's at right now, I know he would much rather be here teaching you this. And I'm sorry that it is me that has to teach you this, Naruto. Naruto gets a little upset, but he says, that's okay. I mean, you've been here helping me through all my training, just like Big Bro Kakashi and Jiraiya. Thank you. But, so you know about my dad. What about my mom? Well, I told you about your dad, so I guess I could tell you about your mom, too. One thing I'll say is, you remember that girl with the pink hair? He says, oh, yeah, Sakura. What about her? Yeah, I think you get your dad's I think you've got your dad's taste in women. It's like, what? What is that supposed to mean? He's just picking on Naruto a little bit. It's like, honestly, that girl is quite a bit like your mom. For one, when your mom had red hair, it's like, but Sakura's is pink. I mean, pink is just a lighter red, Naruto. And the girl does seem pretty loud. Your mother was pretty loud. Your mother also had a temper. But your mother, I can tell you, loved you as well. She was a great and kind woman, Naruto. He says, was there any special jutsu that she knew? And he says, if anything, I mean, since you are an Uzumaki, you should be able to manifest chakra chains, but let's work on just one thing at a time for now, Naruto. So, okay, that's fine. And then he said, well, you told me about, well, how did my how did my mother and father die? Naruto? Honestly, that is something I don't want to tell you. It's like, oh, really? Kurama looks up. And he's about to speak when the sage said, Kurama, no. And he actually gets upset. He gets mad. And Kurama don't want to make his dad mad. And he kind of puts his head back down. And he's like, well, what's going on? Says Naruto. Once you get older, I will tell you about that. But for now, it would not be a good idea for me to tell you how your parents died. You just need to understand they loved you. They loved you more than anything, Naruto. And even now, their love still persists. So, let's not talk about that anymore, Naruto. Which, I mean, of course, with any of you who've watched Naruto, you'd know. If I am correct, Kurama did kill Naruto's mom, for the most part. He impaled her. And his dad died sealing the fox. So it makes sense why the sage doesn't want to tell Naruto about that. After that, the sage tells him, so go ahead and go rest for now, Naruto. Go ahead and continue training with that jutsu to where you can eventually use it. And also, make sure you train on the Rasengan, because I know you're learning that as well. I'm sure you'll master them both one day. And as such, Naruto tells him, well, thank you. And he, starts to drift off, and he falls asleep. As Naruto's gone now, in his mindscape, Kurama speaks up. We're gonna have to tell him one day, Father. He's gonna have to know that I'm the reason they're both gone. He says, Kurama, be that as it may, you need to understand. He needs to know as well. You were under mind control over most of that. I understand that, but I still killed them, and it was my decision. And I understand everything that's been going on with the boy. And Father, I will apologize to you about this. But if I had the opportunity to kill both of them again, I would not hesitate. And the sage tells him, I know, Kurama. But one day you will have to look past your hatred for them. Naruto is a good kid. He's a good boy, Kurama, and you know it. But you need to understand, he's not his father. And you know Naruto will not subjugate you. He wants to be your friend, Kurama. And the fox at that point, he's been around Naruto for 2 years, and he actually says, I'm starting to believe that. If this boy truly is the one you speak about, the one who will bring peace to all of us, if it is possible, then I will attempt to be his friend. But only when he has earned it. He will have to earn it one day. If he cannot earn my respect, then forgive me, Father, but I will not help somebody like him. And the sage tells him, I know, Kurama, but I guarantee you he will earn that respect. And that's it for this part. This was What If Naruto Was Raised by the Sage of Six Paths, Part 4. I hope you liked it. If you have any ideas or tips on what I could do for the story, go ahead and leave them in the comments. I would love to hear it. So, I guess that's it. Later.